Welcome back, everyone. Thank you once again for joining me here on this journey of emotion, justice, and quiet strength. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, because what you're about to hear is more than just a story. It's a glimpse into the resilience of the human heart. In our previous episode, we watched the haunting moment when Deep, a young woman of quiet courage, was cruelly framed by her ex-husband's family. They accused her of stealing their house title deeds and pawning them. She was dragged away by the police, not as a criminal but as a scapegoat, her innocence seen only by one person, James, the man who stood silently watching, powerless yet deeply moved. But as dawn broke the next day, Deep awoke in a makeshift tent by the roadside, the last remnant of shelter after days of turmoil. Her moment of fragile peace was shattered by a piercing shout. Storming toward her were the very people who had betrayed her, her ex-husband Pal and his venomous mother, their faces twisted in rage. Without a shred of compassion, they hurled accusations at her. Pal, reeking of alcohol, mumbled incoherent threats, while his mother's shrill voice sliced the morning air. Deep, trembling, tried to explain, her words broken by tears. "It wasn't me," she cried, "maybe it was Linda. I wasn't the only daughter-in-law." But to them, Deep was not a human being. She was a scapegoat, a target. They wanted someone to blame, and Deep, defenseless and alone, was the easiest choice. Fueled by fury, Powell lunged forward and ripped apart her only shelter, while his mother delivered vicious blows to her face and body. With no choice, Deep fled, her few belongings clutched in shaking hands, her tears mixing with dust as she ran through alleyways like a hunted soul. The world moved on around her, blind and indifferent. And when she finally stopped running, she collapsed beside the wreckage that had once been her refuge. She had nothing left, nothing but the pain. Meanwhile, James couldn't sleep. Throughout the night and into the morning, Deep's image haunted him, her pain, her helplessness, her eyes pleading for justice. He couldn't explain it, but something inside him refused to let her suffering go unanswered. Determined to uncover the truth, James turned to unconventional allies, men from the underworld. He needed the truth, not just who pawned the land title, but who orchestrated this cruel scheme. Together, they traced the clues to a pawn shop on the outskirts of town. The moment the pawn shop owner laid eyes on James and the stern men with him, his resistance melted. Under pressure, he pulled out the key document, a red land title deed. James's sharp eyes scanned the paper. There it was, Pal's signature. And a photograph. A woman, Linda, Pal's second wife. The same woman Deep had mentioned. The real culprit. With solid proof in hand, James rushed to the police, demanding an investigation. The officers, stunned by the clarity of the evidence, agreed to reopen the case, but James didn't stop there. He drove to the place where Deep had once taken shelter. What he found was only silence and ashes. Her tent was gone, her trail cold. As for Deep, survival had become her only mission. She wandered into the forest, searching for wild fruits and herbs just to make it through the day. She built a fire from dry branches, curled up in the cold, and tried to sleep. Her body ached, her spirit barely holding on, but her will, unbroken. The next morning, hope flickered again. Passing a roadside agricultural center, she noticed a small handwritten sign. Hiring. Produce sorting, paid daily. With nothing to lose, Deep walked in and asked for the job. And fate, quietly, began to stir. Because on that very same day, James was visiting that exact collection point, a remote facility owned by his company. He hadn't announced his visit. It was routine, unplanned, but fate doesn't follow plans. He walked past her, Deep, her back turned, hair tied loosely, clothes soiled from days of hardship. He didn't recognize her. And she, too focused on the work, never looked up. Two people destined to meet past each other like strangers, one step away, yet still oceans apart. But justice wasn't done yet. Thanks to James's evidence, police confirmed Linda as the true criminal. She had stolen and pawned the land title to fund a lie, claiming to be pregnant with Pal's child, while in truth, the baby belonged to another man. The entire scheme had been built on deceit. When the truth came to light, Pal and his family were speechless. The weight of their mistake crashed down on them. They hadn't just wrongly accused Deep. They had destroyed her. And in doing so, they had lost her. They searched her old streets, the alleys she once walked. But she was gone. Deep, meanwhile, used the little she earned to buy a bit of food. She slept that night beside a stream under a sky full of stars, lonely, but not broken. The fire was faint, but her spirit, though shaken, still burned quietly. She kept moving forward. Eventually, she came across a lumber company with a job opening. Desperate to look presentable, she bathed in the nearby stream and put on her old clothes, now cleaner. When she walked in, every eye turned toward her, some with pity, some with doubt. Her lack of education and strength made rejection seem inevitable, but then, James saw her. This time, he recognized her instantly. Her tired face, her fragile posture. It was her. Without hesitation, he called a staff member and ordered that she be hired immediately. Deep, unaware of the silent guardian watching her, was given a chance, a new beginning. As she walked away, joy lighting her face for the first time in weeks, James stood in the background, smiling. She had found her way back to him. Without even knowing it. So, what happens next? Will Deep discover the truth behind her mysterious savior? Will love find a way to bloom through the ashes of betrayal? We'll find out soon.